this crazy season and crazy past weekend, maybe it could benefit the Auburn Tigers.
You are Locked On Auburn, your daily podcast on the Auburn Tigers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Yes, welcome on into Locked On Auburn, your daily Auburn Tigers podcast. I'm your host, Zach Blackerby, and thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Lindsay, Crosby from the barn, auburn.com, as well as a million other places hanging out with us today. We got a major weekend ahead. Obviously, the betting line, according to our friends at FanDuel this weekend, super interesting. But Lindsay, let's start with this. This whole season so far has been crazy in the SEC. Some teams better than we thought, some teams worse than we thought, including this past weekend where it just kind of seems to be kind of an exclamation mark on the ups and downs for a lot of these teams. And it kind of makes me wonder, and this is me putting on the orange and blue glasses. I'm not hiding it. I'm not dancing around that fact. Okay. But I just wonder if the craziness of this season, if you could kind of say, okay, another piece of the puzzle, another part of these building blocks to having this absurd, crazy season for the SEC could be Auburn taking down Georgia this weekend. And we'll talk more about the betting line, but like experts, odds makers saying it's like, hey, this could be closer than we think. Georgia clearly has chinks in the armor, right? Like I don't think there's any argument against that. However, I thought they looked really good against Kentucky. Kentucky's really bad on both sides of the ball. How much does that matter? I don't know. Some of this I'm just dreaming a little bit. But could all the craziness that has happened so far this year, could Auburn say, hey, I want to be a part of that?
I do think when you go back and you look at some of the best Auburn seasons in recent history, one of the things that they're kind of known for is a little bit of chaos, whether it's chaos in the conference, chaos in Jordan-Hare. And whenever you have a season where you play Georgia at home, you play Alabama at home, like that is where the chaos happens. We don't talk about the crazy things that happen for Auburn to knock off Georgia in Sanford Stadium. We talk about what happens in Jordan-Hare. And so, yeah, like, with how weird college football is, like who knew that Arch Manning was cheeks? Like nobody had any clue about this. Like with all of the weirdness of college football this year, it feels like Auburn's schedule is set up to take advantage of that chaos at home. Yeah. Maybe get a couple upsets and actually have end up with an interesting season from what so far has been pretty disappointing.
It has been disappointing. And I mean, how important is Auburn having a bye week this week? I think it depends on who you ask. And I think a lot of it depends on like what you think of, Auburn's coaching staff as a whole. Cause I think bye weeks really only benefits you if you've got a coaching staff that can back it up.
You can use it to good effect. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you gotta be able to take advantage and, I think there's going to be differing opinions on that, but it doesn't make this matchup any easier, certainly. In his first year, the LSU game was after a bye week. They lost that. The Mizzou game last year was after a bye week. They had that and still kind of let it fizzle away. So, I mean, there's situations where it's just like, okay, you've had these opportunities and you haven't been able to take advantage of them despite having extra time off. Hugh Freeze has been feeling it. He's been hearing it. Like,
Can I give the counterpoint?
Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. The counterpoint to that is those previous seasons were marked by a team and a roster that was still pretty fundamentally flawed. And like, yes, we know that Auburn's not the best, especially offensive line, not just because we thought they were this year, but this feels like there's simple and things you can do to make the offense more lethal. And it's finding the pages of the playbook that are the run plays and putting them back on your clipboard. Whereas previous seasons, you went into the bye and it's like, well, okay, we're not going to move from Peyton Thor to somebody else. So like, what can we do to fix things? Whereas now it's like, you can give the ball to a running back on purpose, like intentionally.
let me give you a counterpoint that it makes me sad, but I'm going to say it anyway.
Okay.
Seeing what's been the on-field product this year, largely to do with coaching decisions, not personnel, coaching decisions, makes me push back on that. That was the narrative at the time, but am I willing to kind of look at Peyton Thorne a little differently? I'm not saying Peyton Thorne's great, but was Peyton Thorne put in a situation to succeed last year? I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know. Could they have used Jarquez Hunter more last year? Yes.
Yeah.
Could they have found ways to get it to Cam and KLS maybe a little bit more than they did, last year than they should have? Yes. And down the stretch they did, and they looked better. The way they've coached so far this year, the way Hugh Freeze has handled decisions and guys that, whether they've shown preparedness or not, it makes me look back at previous seasons now and say, like, yeah, the roster wasn't great, but you still probably should have beaten Missouri when their quarterback was banged up last year and you had the lead in the fourth quarter.
New Mexico and
right. So now I'm just like, I don't really know what to think about the first 2 years of Freeze. Year one, sure, 100%. Last year, I feel different about it now, Lindsay. I'm being 100% honest with you. Yeah,
I do think that in hindsight, the division of blame has to be a lot has to shift more towards the coaching staff than we had initially thought. I still do maintain, though, that whether or not they'll do it's a different question. But this year feels like it's more fixable than last year did, right? And again, question is, will they do it or not? But like the solution is more obvious. Because what was the solution last year? And it was like, okay, you got to try to scheme ways to get the wide receivers a little more open and scheme ways to get Peyton Thorne to deliver the ball on time. And this year, it's like, tell them to hand the ball off. Like, it's a little easier of a hill to climb to just say, hey, call a dang run play versus.
Yeah. And a lot of that has to do with roster strength, right? Because the way we're seeing it now is there's so much respect for the receivers, but it's gotten back to the point of, well, like, can he get it to him? So, that's what Georgia's going to do. Georgia's going to load the box and say, Jackson Arnold, bet you can't throw it. Bet you can't beat us. But you can't make a quick decision. And they might be right based on what we've seen so far.
You get in here, you bring a safety down to kind of load the box, press up on the corner so that nobody immediately looks like they're open when the ball is snapped, and then see if Jackson Arnold figures out where to deliver it before the pass rush gets there. Like
I'm putting that's 7 guys on the line. I'm dropping, a different amount every play and putting them different places. And I'm saying, all right, Jackson, how quick can you diagnose it? Can you make the right decision?
Hey, offensive line, can your 5 guys block our 4 rushers? It'll be some combination of these 7 guys. But I don't feel like you need to send a bunch of extra guys at Auburn right now. Just make the offensive line figure it out, because so far they haven't really done it. What was that final play at Texas A&M where 3 guys are through the line within a second?
Right. Yeah. The interesting thing about the O-line, once again, this is coaching. Because they're not getting beat physically in most cases. I mean, everybody gets beat from time to time, but a lot of it's just guys not getting blocked.
Yeah.
And that's coaching. That's not that dude being better than you. That is you just not knowing what you're supposed to do to help the football team win. Yeah. Once again, preparedness. This team does not seem prepared. Maybe they will after a bye week. I hope so. The line this weekend, with all that being said, fascinating. That's next right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at 5 Hour Energy. 17 bold flavors of 5 Hour Energy. You're probably thinking like, oh, caffeine, probably not the most tasty thing, but sometimes you just need it. Or maybe you don't want to drink a full can or cup of something. 5 Hour Energy, it's just like 2 ounces, Lindsay, in 17 different flavors. 17 flavors. 17.
That's a lot of flavors.
There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Each 2-ounce shot packs the caffeine of a premium 12-ounce cup of coffee, plus B vitamins and nutrients with 0 sugar and 0 crashes. How much sugar?
0.
How many crashes?
None.
Enough with boring, flavorless caffeine. It's time to give your caffeine a flavor upgrade with 5-Hour Energy Shots. Get the favorites you love or be bold and try something new in store and online at 5hourenergy.com or Amazon today. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Quo. Previously, Open Phone. Now it's Quo. One of the tools that helps make a huge difference for business owners is Quo. It's the same great business phone system you've heard me talk about before, just has a new name. And here's why it matters. Every missed call, Lindsay, are you making money or losing money when you miss a call?
You're not making money.
You're not making money. You're missing the call. They want your services or your product, and you're not available all the time. Quo changes the game, my guy.
Listen, the next time that I call my plumber in an emergency and he doesn't answer, and I wait and try him again later, will be the first time I ever do that.
That's right. Because you're calling somebody else.
Exactly. It's an emergency. I got to get them now. And Quo keeps me connected with them all the time.
See why over 90,000 businesses trust Quo, formerly Open Phone. Get started for free and get 20% off your first 6 months at quo.com/lockedoncollege. That is quo.com/lockedoncollege. Quo. No missed calls. No missed customers. Thank you so much for making Locked On Auburn your first listen every single day. Auburn hosts Georgia. The line, the spread, according to our friends at FanDuel, 3.5. Opened at 3.5, went to 4.5, back to 3.5. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. I was thinking touchdown, maybe 8.5.
I think this is the impact of the AP poll coming out. Georgia's now 10th in the AP poll. Auburn received votes, so it's kind of like we're 39th. So it's kind of like it's a ranked matchup. 14 teams received votes, and we were the last one. So it's kind of like it's a ranked matchup. That's probably good for a point at least on the line.
The AP poll has been a disaster this year. Not a good stretch of time for the look. Not a good year for Auburn's offense. Not a good year for the AP poll.
Which has a worse problem seeing the field, the AP poll or Jackson Arnold?
I mean, I expect Jackson Arnold to see the field on Saturday, so I would say the AP poll. I would say the AP poll.
Scanning progressions, but yeah, sure, okay.
Oh, see.
Yeah. Sorry, scanning the field. Yeah, sorry.
Who's getting the ball out faster?
Accurately diagnosing the action on the field, the AP poll or Jackson Arnold. There you go.
So Auburn a 3.5 point dog. So obviously, let's discuss all the factors because I think we both agree that this is surprisingly low. I posted this in a graphic Sunday morning when the line was 4.5. It has moved Auburn's way since then. But everyone's like, oh, interesting. Or people are like, yep, I'm taking this right now. But clearly, like everybody's saying that, like, that's clearly not the case if it's moved Auburn's direction. Somebody's taken Auburn, which is interesting. So let's look at some of the factors that could be going into this. It's back at home. Feel like we haven't been at home in a month, which is probably close to true. Bye week. There's this narrative around Georgia that they're like not elite anymore, and I just don't agree with it. But that is a narrative that's going around that's not the same Georgia, right? We've all heard that Georgia's not Georgia anymore. I don't know. Like, if we're going to be honest and say like Georgia looks different because they lost to Alabama, it's like they always lose to Alabama. That's like the only team that they lose to is Alabama. Like, I don't know if that even really matters.
Is it possible they're saying Georgia lost their edge because half the players stopped getting arrested for speeding? Could that be it?
People are asking.
Yeah.
People are asking. I don't know. I don't agree with this. I don't agree with this at all, Lindsay.
I don't either. I don't want any part of this game as far as the lines go. Like 3.5 on Georgia.
So Vegas, like FanDuel's lines, like they've kind of nailed Auburn's games.
They've been really good all year on Auburn.
I mean, I've lost by half a point, like at least twice this year.
Yeah, you have bad luck on picking the wrong side.
Do what?
You have bad luck on picking the wrong side of those. You're always like half a point off of
yeah, I mean, everybody is, right? That's literally
the
game. They're just better at it than everybody else. It's fascinating. But they've been spot on in this world of craziness of college football where Vegas has been wrong a lot about some of these games. They've nailed Auburn to a T. They've since removed the overall win total lines that was 7.5 all offseason. We thought it would go up. It stayed steady.
Yeah.
They moved it, but I checked a few days ago when they was still an option. I think they took those off this week. But going into the weekend, and Auburn's odds for 7.5 were the same. Auburn's losses have been what has been predicted. So I think that's interesting for one, and maybe a full segment on another show later this week. Right. But those have all been taken off now, I think, across the board. But they've been spot on with Auburn. So my question is, if this is another close loss, how does the fan base feel about that? I just think they're tired of close losses is kind of where I'm going with this.
Yeah, I mean, a loss is a loss. And I think at this point, if this was year one and you had a close loss to Georgia, I don't think people are tired of it.
That happened.
But I think at this point,
that happened, by the way.
Yeah, it did. I think at this point, though, you're just moral victories don't mean anything for Auburn anymore, right?
It almost makes it hurt worse.
Yeah, there's times, not all the time. There's times you'd rather just get blown out than to play a close game and lose by 6 or 5, somewhere in the Vegas zone. That's really
Auburn fans are tired.
Yeah,
they're tired.
Part of me wonders, could the line movement be because so many of Georgia's injuries are on the offensive line? Monroe Fielding's probably going to be out. Ernest Green's probably going to be out. Micah Morris is probably going to be out. They're possibly losing 3 starting offensive linemen for this Saturday. Could that be maybe why the line?
That's important. That's important.
The pass rush is really good, and
that's worth a point or two for sure.
I think Malachi Tolliver's out too. It's a 4 offensive linemen, although 3 of them are starters. I don't think one of those is a starter, but they've had 5 different line combinations.
Starters, that'll have some play for sure.
Yeah. On the baseball side, I like to track how often the Braves use a different lineup, right? Just out of curiosity. Georgia used a different offensive line 5 times this year. A different line combination to start a game 5 times this year. They have not had the full line together.
Will they have the same line that they had against Kentucky, against Auburn? Do you have that?
No, Monroe Fielding got hurt during that game. So, so they would have another different lineup.
That matters.
On Saturday.
That matters for sure. The over-under is 47.5. I'm saying under on that right now. I'm saying under on that.
Unless Gunnar Stockton goes nuts
we got a puppers.
That was Bandit, yeah.
We got a pupper. Shout out to Bandit for sure.
Shout out to Bandit, yeah.
For sure.
Unless Gunnar Stockton just goes nuts running the ball in the red zone, I think it's probably going to end up being under. Yeah.
Yeah, I would.
Although if you're taking
right now, I'm taking Georgia to cover and I'm taking the under. So take that for what.
Yeah, I don't want Auburn at that low of a point total. I want more. I want a bigger cushion than that, just to be safe.
I'm shocked it's this low. I'm curious to see if we got movement throughout the week. So
yeah.
All right, coming up, obviously a major weekend. What's at stake? I mean, Auburn can fix a lot of stuff if they just do the right things. That's next, right here on Locked On Auburn. Today's show brought to you by our friends at FanDuel. FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. We just said it. We just talked about it. We just told you Auburn's line. And if you're saying, wait, no, Auburn's going to win this game, or, oh my goodness, you guys are right. 3.5 point spread, even if it moves to 4.5 by the time this show airs, all right, hey, head over to FanDuel, FanDuel.com. That'll point you in the direction of the FanDuel app. And they've got an offer that you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. You pick a bet, put down $5. If it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. Today's show also brought to you by our friends at Kia Autosport of Columbus. We love Kias here. We love the Kia Sorento. They've got a few 2025 Kia Sorentos left. They're ready to hook you guys up. All you've got to do is check out their website, KiaAutosportColumbus.com, or go see them, of course, in Columbus, Georgia, right off of Little C Boulevard. They'll take care of you. They've got you covered. In fact, if you show up and say, hey, heard you guys on Locked on Auburn, $500 off a new Kia right there. You're welcome. Thank you for listening, but you're welcome for that. So head over to Kia Autosport Columbus to browse their full inventory and start saving today. Lindsay Crosby hanging out with us. Major weekend. This season has not gone as planned, largely due to not who they've lost to and who they've beaten, but how the offense has looked. That's the biggest question mark. And to me, like, obviously you want to win this game, but Hugh Freeze has to prove that his offense can work in an important game. It's great that you got points against Baylor and yards. That's great. It's great that you got points and yards against South Alabama and Ball State, but that's just not enough anymore. It's just not enough anymore. But here's what's amazing about, Auburn's schedule. There's pros and cons of it. It's tough. It's grueling. You're in the SEC. It's just going to get tougher next year. But you can go out and the offense can look great and you win this game. Everyone forgets about the last 2 weeks. It's an incredible opportunity for everyone involved. You just have to go out and find a way to get better.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's the problems are pretty self-evident at this point. Like it's obvious what is wrong. The question I want to ask you, and I thought of this, I didn't prep you ahead of time, so I apologize.
Yes.
Would you rather, I guess, which would be a bigger deal? Going out and doing what we feel like is a much improved offensive game plan with a more consistent running game, better able to complete passes and all that, and playing Georgia really close and covering but not winning, or you go out.
How many points? Give me a final score.
It is 24-21, maybe. You barely like last minute kick beat you, right?
Okay.
Or you go out and it's a super fluky, weird Jordan-Hare voodoo game, and you win by 3 in a completely not repeatable and not comforting way that doesn't let you feel like anything's fixed. Like, which one is better? Losing, but looking a lot more sustainably better in the process, or getting the win, but it's super fluky that there's no way you can repeat this?
Winning.
The win matters
for sure.
winning. Yeah.
Winning matters more than anything. I think it doesn't matter how you win. If you beat Georgia, I mean, it really ends a lot of stuff. I mean, the streak against Georgia right now is brutal.
True.
I mean, the current streak right now is brutal. We all going into it. It's like, if you could go win one of those past 2 games because you're going to lose to Georgia. Well, if you beat Georgia and lose to those other teams, it's like, okay, you're still kind of on pace to talk about a lot of the stuff that you wanted to talk about. I mean, honestly, if you beat Georgia, you still do control your destiny. So it doesn't matter how you get there. And then it gets way easier after that, I think. Mixed opinions on Missouri. I can't wait to dive more into Missouri next week on that, because who they've played, I think, is worthy of note. But I mean, I think that obviously is the better thing to win in advance. There are going to be some people, and I just don't agree with it, that just want Auburn to lose so there's more leverage to get Hugh Freeze out. I think that's going to work itself out regardless.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to come down to one game, nor should it come down to one game. I know friend of the program, Jake Crane, has said, he's quoted some folks that he's talked to within the program that I think the words he used was it's a line in the sand. And I'm not saying that's not true. I'm not super pro mid-season firings unless you think DJ Durkin could be the next guy and you want to see what it looks like. We're in a weird situation where if that's part of it, I'm okay with it. But regardless of what happens against Georgia, I mean, assuming Auburn loses, it doesn't matter if it's a 3-point loss or they get blown out. There's going to be people calling for Hugh's job. And if it's a blowout, I 100% am down with it. If it's close, I think it's open to discussion. There's plenty of variables to it. But I've already talked to several Auburn fans that like their thoughts going into this game where it's like, look, if we're going to lose, let's just get blown out because then it's obvious. It's obvious what we need to do with the head coaching position. And if that happens, I think it gets really interesting, Lindsay, as far as how Auburn proceeds. Do they get aggressive and say, hey, DJ Durkin, you're interim. Let's see what you can do. Or do you do some kind of closed door deal with Freeze and say like, hey, do what you can. You're done after this season. I think it's interesting. And I think there's an argument for both. But traditionally, I'm against anything that could happen mid-season. But this is a situation where, like, if you get blown out, like, and you think DJ Durkin could be the next guy, let's see what it looks like in his interim.
Yeah, that's one of the big considerations is if, like, here's the thing. With the schedule getting significantly not better, reasonably easier after Georgia, you're in a position, if you fire Hugh, Durkin could reel off a bunch of wins. He could theoretically go 4-1 in that stretch. And then if that happens, to your point, it's a lot more likely that he gets the top job because he's coming off a 4-1 stretch with the same roster that started off, in this case, it would be, starting off 3-3. And so that's kind of my argument against midseason firings. A lot of Braves, like the corollary here for me, a lot of Braves fans wanted to fire Brian Snitker. And I'm like, y'all realize if you bring on if you promote Walt Weiss to the head job and the Braves have a hot end of the year, he's the new manager. Like, that's it. It's done. They're not going to go do a search. And that's kind of where you are here. If you get rid of Hugh after Georgia, if they get blown out, and you bring on Durkin, they go 4-1. Durkin's probably the next head coach. Like, they'll still search. They'll still look. But it's going to be really hard to get over. He went 4-1 with the same Hugh roster that went 3-3, even though the schedule was easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's the big problem here for a lot of people.
If it's a problem, right? If that's the plan, and like we don't know, if does Cohen want him to be like we don't know. We don't know what that looks like, and those are conversations we'll never be privy to. But it's interesting. But gosh, a win against Georgia would be awesome for so many different reasons. It'd be great for player retention in the offseason. It'd be great for recruiting. Maybe it'd be a great thing for Freeze. It'd be great for, Jackson Arnold's confidence. Like, it's just, there's so much. There's such a great opportunity this weekend. And clearly, like, if you're a 3.5 point dog, like, you got a shot at it.
Yeah, I think, so Halloween's on the 31st. That's when Brian Harsin was fired. So how did the 31st? Halloween's the day before the Kentucky game. And so I wonder, like, would Kentucky be that mark? Be that, hey, there's 4 games left in the season. We finished 2/3 of the year and it's not working. But like at the same time,
I think if it happens, it'll happen before then.
Yeah. Same. It'll be, again, to your point, if it's a blowout against Georgia, it happens there. But like if you drop one of the two or maybe both of them to Missouri and Arkansas, even if you don't get blown up by Georgia, it's pretty easy to make the call in that case, right? If you're dropping games to Missouri and Arkansas, including Missouri at home, give me whoever. Give me Zach.
Yeah, Arkansas on the road could be another situation where
behind an interim.
Yeah. I mean, look, I want to be clear. I hope it doesn't get to that point. I hope Auburn wins on Saturday and we're talking about like, okay, we control our own destiny to the playoff here. Like, let's buckle up. If you beat Georgia, you can beat anybody. So
I will point out Auburn has better odds for the national championship on FanDuel than Georgia Tech, USC, and Florida all do. Auburn's at plus 7,500 to win the national championship right now on FanDuel.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Same odds as Vanderbilt. Yep.
Wow. Yeah. All right. There you go. Why did Johnny Manziel, why was he there wearing a Diego Pavia jersey? Like, why was he on the field and all that? Like, why was that a thing?
I think he's supporting the whole, I think a little bit of it was like Alabama hate. I think a little bit of it's supporting the whole Diego Pavia trying to get more eligibility to make more money because Manziel was all about the money. I think that's part of it.
Oh, you're making a joke. Okay. Got it.
No, I'm being serious. I think he's supporting the Diego Pavia lawsuit thing about making money. I think that's part of it.
Got it. All right.
But there is a joke in there, but I was being serious. Yeah.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Lindsay, how can people check out everything you've got going on?
I'm on social media at Crosby Baseball. BravesToday.com, Braves Today on YouTube for the podcast. Tons of talk about a new manager for the Atlanta Braves right now. We're going through all of that over there at Braves Today.
Please like the video. Please subscribe. We will see you next time. This has been Locked On Auburn.